Last night, Trump gave his first address to the nation on the Iran war. And if you go to social media right now, you will see two reactions. The left is calling it delusional, and some people on the right are confused. They heard the speech, but they are not sure what it means for them, for gas prices, for the troops, and for what comes next. I watched the whole thing, every word, and I'm going to walk you through what Trump actually said and what the media is ignoring and what I think is coming next. Because I have seen this playbook before, not in a book, but in my own country. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, I'm the Power Pundit, and tonight I want to give you the clearest breakdown of this speech that you're going to find anywhere. Let's start with the part that made the media laugh. Trump listed every major American war and how long each one lasted. World War I, a year and 7 months. World War II, 3 years and 8 months. Korea, 3 years. Vietnam, 19 years. Iraq, almost 9 years. And then he said, the United States has been in this operation for 32 days. 32 days. And Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is destroyed. Their radar is wiped out. Their missile capacity is, according to Trump, almost finished.
Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead.
Now, the media heard that and said, oh, he's bragging. Social media said that, oh, this guy is delusional. But here's what I wanted you to actually think about. Set aside how Trump says things. Focus on what he's actually saying. Is it true that the Iranian Navy no longer exists? Well, yes. Every intelligence source confirms it. Is it true that Iran's Air Force has been grounded? Yes. Is it true that the original leadership, including the supreme leader, is dead? Yes. Every Western and non-Western source confirms all of that. So the 32-day comparison is not bragging, it's context, and context matters. Because when people tell you this war is a disaster, you need to ask them one question. Compared to what? Compared to Iraq? Compared to Afghanistan? Compared to Vietnam?
That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world.
Now, respected is a strong word. Not everyone agrees with that word, but quick, lethal, and violent, that part is accurate. 32 days to dismantle a military that took Iran 40 years to build, that's not nothing. Whether you like it or hate it, that is not nothing. But let's talk about the thing that actually matters to your wallet. Gas prices. I already talked about this in my last video. $4 a gallon and climbing. That is real. I'm not going to pretend it's not. You feel it. Everybody feels it. People all over the world feel it. So let me explain what's actually happening, because it's simple, but the media won't say it this clearly. The United States imports almost no oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Almost zero. The U.S. produces more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Trump said it in the speech, and that part is true. So if the United States doesn't need oil from the Strait, why are American gas prices going up? Because oil is priced on a global market. When 20% of the world's oil supply gets choked off, the price goes up everywhere, even in countries that don't use that oil. It's like a flood in another city raising insurance premiums in yours. You didn't get wet, but the market got scared. And who caused the flood? Iran. Iran closed the strait. Iran attacked oil tankers. Iran launched missiles at Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Bahrain. So when Trump says the price spike is Iran's fault, he's right. It is Iran's fault. The Strait of Hormuz is closed because Iran closed it. That's the lever they're pulling because it's the only lever they have left.
We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily.
And then Trump said something that made a lot of people angry. He told the rest of the world, go take care of the strait yourself. The hard part is done. Iran's military is finished, so go protect your own oil. The media call that abandoning allies. I call it common sense. Why should American troops be the permanent security guards for shipping lanes that serve China, Japan, India, and Europe? Trump is saying the threat is eliminated. The bully is down. Now it's just your turn to step up. And by the way, he also said, or just buy oil from the United States, which is not charity. That is business. And if you understand anything about Donald Trump, you understand that everything eventually comes back to a deal. And that brings me to the part of the speech that I think most people completely missed. The most important line of the whole night.
Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable.
Read between the lines. Trump is saying two things at once. On one hand, he's saying the U.S. didn't go in to overthrow a government. That is important because it separates this from Iraq. No nation building, no 20-year occupation. And on the other hand, he's saying the old leadership is dead. The new people in charge know what happened to the old people in charge. That is a message, and it's not subtle. I've seen this exact pattern before. In Venezuela, after the U.S. operation, the people running things now, people like Delcy Rodriguez, are doing everything the United States has demanded. Everything. Oil production, cooperation, political reforms. Why? Oh, well, because they saw what happened to the people who said no. Trump didn't need to say, comply or else. He just pointed to the bodies and say, the new group is more reasonable. That is the or else. And this is where I bring something to the table that most American pundits simply cannot. I am not reading about this in a textbook. I grew up in a country run by authoritarians. I have studied how petrostates collapse and how they get rebuilt. I have watched the macroeconomics of Venezuela, the oil markets, the American energy play, the Middle Eastern power balance, not from a classroom, but from experience. And I'm telling you, what Trump described last night is not chaos. It's a business proposition. Do business with the United States and prosper. Refuse and look at what happened to the last group that refused. That is a message for Iran and for every country watching. That is the message. And in case anyone doubted that the message was serious, Trump made one more thing very clear.
If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously.
If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. That is not a bluff. Trump has not bluffed once in this entire operation. He said he would hit the nuclear sites. He hit the nuclear sites. He said he would destroy the Navy. He destroyed the Navy. He said he would take out the leadership. The leadership is dead. So when he says the electric grid is next, believe him and understand what that means. Without electricity, Iran cannot pump oil, cannot run hospitals, cannot operate water treatment, cannot communicate. It means total collapse of civilian infrastructure. That is the Stone Age he mentions. And he's giving Iran 2 to 3 weeks to make a deal before that happens. Now, some people will say that that's cruel. And targeting civilian infrastructure is a serious thing, yeah, but I'm not going to pretend it's not. But look at it from Trump's perspective. He hasn't touched Iran's oil. He hasn't touched the electric grid. He's held back the two things that would end Iran's ability to function as a country, and he's using that restraint as leverage. It's the same logic as a businessman walking into a negotiation and putting a folder on the table. He doesn't have to open the folder. The other side just needs to know the folder exists. So Iran's new leadership has a choice. Take the deal, open the strait, start rebuilding, do business, or watch the lights go out permanently. So I know the news is loud right now. I know gas prices hurt. I know the media is telling you this is a disaster. But step back, look at the 32-day timeline, look at what's been accomplished, look at the deal that's been offered. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. This is something different. And whether it works depends on what happens in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'll be right here covering every move. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.